It says Bricklebit in an older elvish hand.
What's Bricklebit?
A magic word.
What's it do?
Makes animals shit gold.
Telltale is running at full steam over the next year, releasing adventure game adaptations of many popular franchises. The first of which hits us this fall with the infamously delayed, but finally released The Wolf Among Us. Using Vertigo's successful Fables license, this detective adventure game tells a prequel story to the graphic novels, in which a number of fairy tale characters live in the present day. From Mr. Toad to Beauty and the Beast, you'll encounter plenty of famous fantasy figures in this mature murder mystery. You're Bigby Wolf, otherwise known as the Big Bad Wolf from Red Riding Hood and Three Little Pigs lore. As the sheriff of the district the Fables live in, you're in charge of solving a mysterious murder in your neighborhood.
You two need to get a handle on this situation quickly and quietly. The last thing we need is all of Fabletown knowing there's a killer amongst us.
As you interact with the other characters that are quite aware of your infamous past, the game establishes a setting where the way you deal with people or things that are not quite people will greatly affect their compliance and acceptance of you.
How are you today, Mr. Bigby?
Fine, Buffkin. Thanks for asking.
Although the game follows the Telltale tradition of moving from set piece to set piece, you're now presented with options at key moments that changes the way events proceed and heavily imply that the choice is important. While it's only a small step up from the binary choices found in their other games, the weight added to these moments made me very interested in finding out how things could have ended up differently. If anything, it may make knowing what parts of the narrative that you do alter more obvious. But time will tell in later episodes if your polarizing choices will vastly change the plot, or if they'll find a way to reach the same conclusion as some did in The Walking Dead.
Don't make it a dilemma.
Something that many people will notice right away from other Telltale games is a very high contrast, high saturated look, even compared to more colorful titles like Monkey Island or Sam & Max. It's very easy to notice that the character models do carry that same animation style from earlier games, but even the non-human characters have easily identifiable emotions, showing evidence of the talent being put into this product. There's a lot of cool little touches put to the visuals, like when lines invert in color when darkened by shadows. Well, I think that's a pretty cool effect.
Don't say that shit in front of people. It's embarrassing.
Action scenes in combat take what Telltales are familiar with to varying degrees of success. Sometimes it takes half a second to comprehend what's occurring on screen, while messy as ever, it does its job, assuming the player doesn't fall flat on seeking the prompts. In this situation, it might be advised to use the controller over mouse and keyboard since the inputs can be inconsistent. But what are my thoughts on this first episode? Just on initial impressions, I dig it. The dialogue is entertaining, and the timing is a step up from some of the static Mass Effect-like moments in past Telltale games, and it ends on a note that makes you want to figure out what happens next. Pacing doesn't have too much dead air like in past games where you're just trying to shoot the breeze with other NPCs. I also got a sense of Phoenix Wright-like glee from solving the puzzles. While the solutions are obvious most of the time, the joys of pretending you're a detective elicits a high sense of satisfaction. Even if you aren't familiar with the license, it shouldn't take too long to piece together how this universe works.
Your impatience is callow. You're needlessly cruel, but have some respect for our history rules.
Mirror, mirror, if you're able, tell me all about this fable.
The writing and presentation makes The Wolf Among Us something I recommend getting invested in. The first episode is $5 and a little over 2 hours long, so the risk, if any, is minimal, and the whole package itself has been discounted a few times already. If sex for money, meme party, and more zombies don't make the cut for you, then this noir narrative may do the trick. With 4 games in the pipe, time will tell if we're too saturated with this type of adventure game, but for the time being, I'm just hungry for more. So that was The Wolf Among Us. It is a video game that you can play. I mean, we're only looking at 20% of a game so far. You expect me to give it a score? Let me get back to you in a couple months.
At least it's a fucking challenge.
No need to kick up a fuss. Come on, Bigby. Say something. Oh, you're starting to scare me.